So, imagine this. You're on the Mount of Olives. Jesus has just dropped a bombshell, predicting the complete and utter destruction of Jerusalem's magnificent temple. His disciples are, completely stunned. They pull him aside, and they have some urgent questions. Questions that people are still asking today. Okay, let's get right into it.
So they basically hit him with three massive questions, right? First, when is this temple thing going to happen? Second, what's the sign that you're coming back? And third, how will we know it's the end of the age? These three questions set up everything Jesus is about to say.
All right, first up, let's tackle their most immediate concern, the fate of the temple. And this is where it gets wild, because this is the one part of Jesus' prophecy that we can actually look back on in the history books and see that it was fulfilled with chilling accuracy.
I mean, just listen to how absolute that is. He's not saying it'll be damaged or that it'll need repairs. He's talking about total annihilation. For the disciples, who are staring at this incredible architectural wonder, that must have sounded completely impossible.
And wouldn't you know it, history shows us exactly how this went down. The Roman general Vespasian starts the siege, but then, plot twist, he gets called back to Rome to become the emperor. This little pause in the action gave the Christians who actually listened to Jesus' warning a window to escape. But when Vespasian's son, Titus, came back in 70 AD, he finished the job with a vengeance, razing the temple to the ground, just like Jesus said would happen.
And the human cost of this, it's just staggering. The historian from that time, Josephus, tells us that over 100,000 people were captured and sold into slavery. It was an absolutely devastating event that really proved the terrifying accuracy of what Jesus predicted.
Okay, so with the temple's destruction covered, Jesus then shifts gears. He starts to answer the disciples' other big questions, the ones about the more distant future, the signs that would point to his return, and the end of the age itself.
And to explain this, he uses his really powerful metaphor, childbirth. He says, look, the signs of the end aren't all just going to happen at once. No, they're going to be like birth pains. They'll start out kind of general, spaced pretty far apart, but over time they'll get more and more frequent and way more intense right up until the final event.
So what are these early pains? Well, he lays them out. You'll see false messiahs pop up. You'll hear about wars and threats of war. Nations will fight each other. There will be famines and earthquakes. But, and this is the part you really got to catch, he says, don't freak out when you see this stuff. This is just the beginning of the sorrows. This is not the end itself.
So if we're following that childbirth analogy, after the early pains, well, that's when the intense labor begins. Jesus describes this next phase as a very specific, unprecedented time of suffering called the Great Tribulation. And this happens right before he returns. The single event that kicks off this whole intense period is something called the abomination of desolation. Now, Jesus is pulling this term from a prophecy in the book of Daniel. It's about a future moment of just profound, ultimate desecration of God's holy place.
And the prophet Daniel actually gives us a timeline. He says some figure will make a 7-year treaty or a covenant with Israel. But halfway through, at the 3.5-year mark, he's going to break that deal and put a stop to all the temple sacrifices. That act of betrayal is the trigger.
So who is this guy? Well, the scriptures call him the Antichrist, or the man of sin. And his ultimate goal isn't just to mess up the temple, it's to walk right in, sit down, and declare that he is God. That is the abomination that Jesus is talking about. Now, after describing this period that's so full of deception and suffering, Jesus makes one thing crystal clear. His actual return will be the complete opposite. It's going to be public, it's going to be undeniable, and there will be absolutely no way to mistake it. The contrast here is just, it's night and day. False saviors will have these secret hidden appearances. Hey, he's over here. No, he's over there. You'll have to go looking for them. But the real second coming, it'll be like lightning that flashes across the entire sky. A single global event that everyone on the planet sees at the same time. You won't need anyone to tell you it's happening.
And if that wasn't clear enough for you, his return is going to be accompanied by cosmic signs that nobody can possibly ignore. We're talking the sun going dark, the moon not giving its light, stars seeming to fall from the sky. The very fabric of the heavens will be shaken. So after laying out this entire epic timeline, from the fall of Jerusalem all the way to the end of the age, Jesus brings it all back home with the single most important message of all. This isn't about trying to predict dates on a calendar. It's about being personally prepared.
He tells 3 quick parables, and they're all hammering home the same point. The fig tree teaches us to recognize the signs of the season is near. The story of Noah's day warns us that life is going to seem totally normal right up into the very end. And the faithful servant is a reminder to be found doing what you're supposed to be doing when the master shows up unexpectedly.
And this verse right here is the ultimate reason why we need to be ready. Because even though we can know the season is approaching, the precise timing is a divine secret. Jesus himself says that the exact day and hour, nobody knows it, not the angels, not even him, but only the Father. That uncertainty is exactly why a state of constant readiness is so crucial. And that brings us to the final, piercing question that this whole chapter leaves us with. The message ends by comparing his return to a thief in the night. It's going to happen when we least expect it. So you see, this prophecy in Matthew 24 isn't just a bunch of information about the future. It's a direct challenge to you right now. And the question it leaves us with is simple, but it's also incredibly profound. Are you prepared?